Insanely, the media often tries to blame Tesla. If there's a crash, someone dies, they say, oh, it was the Tesla, not the fact that some psychopath was driving at well over 100 miles an hour through red lights while he was drunk. There is absolutely nothing Tesla could have done to stop this kind of insanity from happening. Absolutely crazy, tragic story. And it's a reminder to your children, generally it's younger people doing things like this, don't get in the car with someone. It doesn't matter if they own a Tesla, they're safe vehicles, doesn't matter who it is. Don't get in the car with someone who has lost their license for being basically a psychopath. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Tragically, a number of people have died in California in an accident where a Tesla Model 3 was driven into a curb at over 160 kilometers an hour, over 100 miles an hour. This is absolutely insane. Now, we know Tesla vehicles in crashes have saved a lot of lives, but in this situation, it just wasn't possible. Apparently, 6 people are actually injured, 3 people are dead, and the person driving had a suspended license and an outstanding warrant for failing to appear in court under driving under the influence charges. So often these accidents do happen in Australia as well, by the way, and commonly the driver is unregistered, drunk, under the influence of drugs, or someone who has had some brushes with the law. And people talk about safety on the roads, right? They say cars should be safer, or we should change rules for this and that. You can't change rules here. You have to take responsibility as a person, as an individual, for not getting in the car if that person is nuts. And if they're driving like a crazy person, immediately tell them, pull over. You know, this happens to kids, and parents are in pain for decades because their children get in the car with someone like this. 3 young people, including the driver, were killed on Saturday in California when a Tesla Model 3 hit a curb at 100 miles an hour. That's 160 kilometers an hour. It went 40 meters through the air. That's 130 feet through the air, and collided, hit a power pole, and also hit a building. I mean, absolutely crazy. The accident happened just after 2:30 on Sunday morning, so 2:30 a.m. on Foothill Boulevard, Pasadena. Police say it was fortunate there wasn't even more casualties. Beside just the 3 dead passengers, 3 more were seriously injured and taken to hospital. Now, for reference, this was a 2018 Tesla Model 3, and there's nothing that any car can do in this situation. When a car flies through the air, 40 meters through the air, hits a power pole, hits a building in the air at speeds of over 160 kilometers an hour, it doesn't matter how safe your car is. Preliminary investigations revealed EV was traveling west with the digital speedo showing well into the triple digits, and it blew a red light at Sierra Mater Boulevard, narrowly avoiding taking out a car heading north, so narrowly avoiding killing even more people. Shortly after that, just before Vista Avenue, it hit a curb, crashed through a streetlight, and traveled half the length of a football field through the air, where it collided with a power pole and then with a vacant building. 3 of the 4 passengers in the back weren't wearing seatbelts. 3 of the 4 passengers weren't wearing seatbelts. Now, how do people bring children up who become, young adults, and they decide not to wear a seatbelt when the driver is driving like this? They must have been on drugs or just completely wasted. It doesn't make sense. One of them was pronounced dead at the scene, along with the front seat passenger and the driver, whose license was suspended at the time of the accident. Now, my dad used to be in the fire brigade, and the fire brigade, they always attend these accidents first. They're there before. Generally they respond to these accidents first. And he's told me a lot of stories when I was growing up. I'd say, Dad, what did you do at work today? And he'd say, well, there was a car crash. And I'd say, what happened? And he'd say, well, someone in the back wasn't wearing their seatbelt, and they flew through the windscreen, and the windscreen chopped off their head. And, we had to clean it up. That obviously affected him, and he hated that. He hated that part of the job, seeing that kind of thing, knowing how the families would feel. Named by law enforcement as 22-year-old Moheb Samuel, he also had a warrant out for his arrest as a result of failing to appear in court to answer charges of DUI dating back to last August. Now, had he been drinking during this accident? It sounds like probably. Police did confirm there was evidence of alcohol in the car. 3 of the passengers in the rear, a 20-year-old man, 18-year-old man, and the 17-year-old sister of the driver, did survive. It sounds like there was 4 people sitting in the back in what is 3 seats. So you can see why they didn't have seatbelts on. Video clips of the accident and the run-up to it show the Model 3 hurtling along at insane speeds before it collides with the street light before being flung into the air and crashing into a building.